Now they're going to run concurrent. So I don't remember exactly what time. I want to say around lunchtime. I was emailed that at lunchtime yesterday, I was emailed that they decided to file a second charge against me for the Election Day case. So in addition to the trespass charges, I am now facing disturbing the peace charges for that day. At any rate, we came fully prepared today. We have lots of witnesses that are subpoenaed. They subpoenaed witnesses to be here. We have lots of exhibits ready to go. Interestingly enough, the prosecution said in discovery a few days ago that they don't intend to introduce any evidence, any exhibits against me, just have witness testimony. We have a bunch of exhibits ready. We have obviously good stuff put together for closing arguments or opening statements, for jury selection questions, you name it. And the hearing on Friday was a little interesting as well, because I was essentially told that I wasn't going to be allowed any of my defenses. So we've been working very diligently on how to get in those, what the law says, into the trial, because it should be all about what the law says. So we typically in any trial I've been I've been a trial attorney in 2 different states and a bunch of other jurisdictions. Within a few days before trial, they will typically tell, they'll narrow it down maybe a week before trial and say, okay, the top 2 or 3, you need to be prepared, have your witnesses ready to go to trial. And then, a day or 2 before trial, they let you know, okay, you're number 1, your case is going, or you're number 2 and case number 1 is going to go, so your case will be adjourned, so that all your witnesses don't take time off of work or whatever else that they need to do to drive all the way to the court hearing. So by yesterday afternoon, we still hadn't heard anything, late yesterday morning, so I emailed the court and asked them to clarify, were we still number 2? Is the number 1 trial still on? Or, should we be prepared because we had witnesses, the prosecution had witnesses subpoenaed? I actually never got an email back. But I eventually got an email back from the prosecutor saying that the number 1 and number 2 and number 3 trials were expected to all be fully prepared and ready to go for this morning. So we got here and they said my trial was being postponed, but I still had to go in for arraignment on the second charge that they filed against me yesterday. So that's what I just went into the courtroom right now for, was arraignment. So I've now pled not guilty to disturbing the peace. Of course, I feel terribly guilty that I've caused lots of people to leave work or leave their families or reschedule doctor's appointments or whatever they've done to either come and testify or to come and support.
Do not feel guilty.
It's not your fault. Not your fault. It's their fault.
We'll be here next time.
I had to come from Florida.
I actually came from Florida. So for those of you who don't know, we sold our house June 30th and had to be out. And that itself is, we're still technically homeless. And we're in the process of moving to Florida because that was always our plan when our 3 older kids were finally out of high school, and they are. So kid number 3 is turning 18 in just a couple months. So we have just kid number 4, who all of you probably know if you've ever seen a video of mine, Emma. And she's ready to rock and roll in Florida and live on the beach. So we're moving to Ormond Beach, Florida. It's not even on my radar right now to take the Florida bar exam. They don't allow you to just waive in as an attorney. So I will eventually, but my main goals right now are to move in and prepare for this trial. But then once this case is done, it's going to be full speed ahead in the fight for freedom for Michigan and for the U.S. So just because I'm physically not here, I was born here. My children were born here. My family remains here. 2 of my older kids will still be here. They're in college. I'm not giving up on Michigan. I'm taking Michigan back for the people. So for anybody...
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yeah, and the corruption.
So I am going to physically not be available at as many events to speak at unless you throw me up on a screen somehow or whatnot. I have a really great tech friend in the crowd here. He might be able to help me out with that. But I just don't want anybody to think that my fight for Michigan is done because I won't be here, or that I moved because of this case. It's been our plan for years. I started talking about it in my videos, a year and a half ago. Shoot, have you guys seen my phone? I mean, come on now. This has been my plan. And I grew up there.
Yeah.
I lived there for 12 years of my life.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, that's a cool thing to do. And Mike and I have not taken a vacation since the year before COVID started. So for us, if I'm going to work every single day in this fight for freedom, which I will continuously do, like last night, another 2 hours of sleep maybe, a lot of literally working all through the night kind of situations. If I'm going to keep doing that and fighting the fight, I want to be able to live near the beach where I could just, take my lunch break and have a vacation and then hit the work again back in my office. So anyway, I just want to stress that. I'm not going anywhere in that sense.
So why do you think that they charged you with a disturbing of peace yesterday, right before the day before your trial is supposed to start, and they waited until this point? Why do you think that is?
I think a few reasons. One is sheer arrogance. Another is they might have actually started to read some of the briefs and arguments that I've been submitting. And the fact that, for example, as a licensed attorney, I am a licensed attorney in Michigan, I am a public official. Regardless of all the other offices I hold or have held here in Michigan, all licensed Michigan attorneys are public officials that as long as and in Michigan, as long as you are serving in that particular role, you cannot be arrested for anything but 3 exceptions, which I believe is felony, treason, and breach of the peace. And funny thing is, I think they finally read that statute because they can't get me on trespass in this case, because no matter what all the other pieces are, I was there undeniably in my role as an attorney. I only showed up specifically to speak with the deputies and explain the law, and they knew that. We had been on the phone. So there's that piece, and there's also one of the main cases. They were trying to argue that I don't get to raise any of my defenses, right? I can't show what my intent was or what I believed the law to be, which is still the law. I still believe it because it's true. But they're trying to say that doesn't matter. Well, I've cited previously, and perhaps they finally got around to reading it, that cases are pretty settled in Michigan, that in order for them to get me for trespass, to convict me, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt several things, but including that I intentionally remained on property I knew I didn't have the authority to be on. So as long as I had a good faith belief that I had the right to be on that property, even if I was wrong in that belief, they cannot convict me unless, in so being on that property, I used force or violence of breach of the peace. I think they just kind of read the last few words, breach of the peace. There was never any, indication or even a suggestion that I was ever violent or, used force. So I think that was also kind of part of their, and of course, tactic to just try to beat me down as much as they can and, make me do, jump through more hoops and
Make an example of you.
Make an example. I think she just had fun trying to sign another warrant for me. Actually, there was never an original warrant for me, so I think she just had fun signing a warrant for me. So, there could be a multitude of reasons, but those would be my best guesses.
Okay. So where do we go from here? When's your next hearing and stuff? What's coming up in the future with this case?
With this case, I clarified with the judge that, normally when you have a charge, you have arraignment. You'll, potentially have any motion hearings, motion to dismiss, that kind of thing, which I guess I could still file in this case. I may very well do that. Then you would have a pretrial conference, and then there's some things that are sorted out, issues are narrowed down, that kind of thing. Then a few days before trial is when you have a settlement conference and you put any last remaining issues on the record, with the court and have them decide different things that are being, like housekeeping types of issues, and then trial. So we are skipping, though, any intermediate things unless I wanted to file a motion. We're basically skipping, so the next thing would be the settlement conference a few days before the next trial date. And as far as when, all the court said is that it would be roughly 90 days from now.
So what can people do to support you?
Number one, pray. Continue to pray for me, my husband, my family, especially my daughter. She was traumatized significantly. Her medical providers are concerned that she was traumatized by what she saw on Election Day, what she saw them do to me on Election Day. And, I want her to be able to feel safe around law enforcement officers. Police Chief Bucala from the city of Lowell, when they fired him for supporting the Second Amendment. So I'm not, a member of BLM or a member of, any organization that believes all cops are bad. But I have an inherent fear now when I see law enforcement that they're going to just make up something. Because that's what happened, So anyway, prayers, donations help because whether it's through this case or whether it's through another case, I'm going to continue the fight for freedom. I'm not taking any other employment. It's going to be, it has been and will continue to be my full-time job to fight for freedom. So any donations can help. And, if there's anybody that wants to volunteer in a consistent way to help with aspects with any of it, just with the case or just with the fight for freedom, helping me to sort through new Supreme Court cases when they come down or, look for opportunities for me to jump in and help assist or whatever. Right now, it basically falls mostly on me. So the number of things I'm doing is less than what it was, say, a year ago because our core team was much bigger and had a lot more flexibility in schedules. So I would be able to do more if I had more help. And hey, if somebody even wanted to donate a year's salary for a legal secretary, that would be fabulous because I'd love to be able to have somebody that can help answer phone calls all the time for people and at least give them a direction on where to go. I still don't have an attorney to refer you to, so don't call about that. But anyway, so those, I guess, would be some of the biggest ways. We will, do our best to update our website. We've been continuing to try to do that, but, restorefreedomkh.com is our website. And, I have filed at this point thousands of pages in this case. I've had to write 9 full briefs. 8 of them were appellate briefs. Those are tasks that one attorney has never done in such a short amount of time without staff. I mean, I had friends that would help me in review, and I'd put them to sleep with a lot of the paperwork, as some of them are looking at each other right now across the room. Remember, I should put us to sleep with that one. But anyway, it's daunting. So, but I plan to get everything up there in a format that's as easily understandable as possible. So you could see, I filed stuff here, and then I appealed to the circuit court, and then I appealed to the Court of Appeals, and then I appealed the stuff that the trial court and prosecutor are doing illegally, to the circuit court, and then to the Court of Appeals. And so to try to help people understand what that roadmap looks like and how to use the legal arguments for their own cases. So I'm not sure when that'll all be. Like I said, I'm moving, and we're technically homeless. But that will be something that, just keep watching the website and our social media. But we'll get back into the swing of things and, do some more lives and videos with other people, freedom fighters we know as well. So,
can you imagine a world without fake news? A world where fear, hate, and propaganda no longer exists and unity can thrive? That's why we're here. Us Against Media reports facts that really happen. We provide original reports and uncover bad politics for local Michiganders. We love what we do and want to continue, but we need your support to help us continue to spread conservative views. Please go to www.usagainstmedia.com and click on the support link to help us continue our fight.